Okay, thank you everybody. Welcome to our community and tourism meeting for February, it's 10th of February 2026. We'll start off with any apologies.
We had a late apology from Francis Williamson.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any interests that we need to share? No interests? Nope, we're all good. Okay. We obviously we have Mark here from Newquay Bid who would like to do his bid report a little bit early and then would be able to leave. So I'm going to propose that we move Mark's report from where it is on the agenda number 6, item number 6, and bring it up to in front of item number 3. I'll propose that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Taylor, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Mark, I'm going to hand over to you to do your bid manager report.
Sorry guys, yeah, me. Yes, apologies guys. I forgot about the microphone. So we're working on the UK Town of Culture expression of interest. I think that's going to go really well. We've got to tell a really good story, but Newquay's full of great stories, and I think we could do a really good job getting in on that, at least getting through our first stage. Christmas lights, me and Joe P had a great meeting about Christmas lights. If I'm honest, I felt a bit disappointed about the Christmas lights. We had an amazing Christmas light switch on. The strongest parts of Newquay were actually the bits of Newquay that the old Newquay Town Council structure. Keilor Court looked amazing. We got let down by the lighting suppliers, we feel, on this occasion. We've had them for 3 years. We held them to task this week, and they promised that these the faults that happened and the lack of lighting and the very poor quality lighting that we had this year will be rectified for the next year. So yeah, really pleased about that, because the town centre didn't look great. There were a lot of issues, and there was a lot of feedback on that. So yeah, shopfront enhancements, great. You know, loads of businesses. We're just finishing them off this month. We're going to try and keep that going on an annual basis, where the shops can actually apply for shopfront funding, and it's a really good way of giving back to some of the smaller businesses that don't necessarily see what their £200 pays for. Well, actually, we've just spent £1,000 on your shopfront, and you look fantastic, and it's money maybe they didn't have. Boardmasters, we've got a meeting, business to boardmasters, we're calling it. We know that this town is impacted. Some positively, a lot negatively, because the press tell people not to come to Newquay during Boardmasters. The town centre was deserted last year for the nighttime economy, and many of the businesses said to me, you know, why? You know, we're ready. We've got empty car parks, and anyway, we've got a big meeting coming up with Boardmasters. We're going to try and get a little bit more understanding of how we can all work better together. And going forward, I think that will be a really good success for us. We're also working with, just jumping around a bit, myself and Amy are working with WAX, Sam Karkeek, the WAX events group, which I used to look at as being a bit of an enemy territory, because they do a lot of events at WAX and not in the town. But no, he's a Newquay boy. He wants to start working with us to do stuff in the town. So We're looking at the Boardmasters timing. We're looking at working with Amy and getting an activation and events going on the Killer Court during Boardmasters, so we can talk about not just about what's happening at either end, but what's going on in the town. So really positive. And Wax are going to be working with us going forward. I won't be in the room when Amy talks about Wax, but I have to say that we can supersonic our events if we work with some private investment from these sorts of people, because they have money that maybe we don't have, and they can really support and work hard to develop our events, you know, through it. Literally supersonic our events. Okay, street meets don't need to worry about. Newquay markets are back beginning of March. Really excited about that. They're really a staple part of Newquay now. We had a lot of pushback. There's somebody else in the room that suffered with me. Our markets are welcomed now by pretty much one and all, apart from one business, and we know who that is. I'm not going to say that. But everybody loves a market, and the footfall is definitely positively impacted by a market. Murals, again, even Cornwall Live reported the murals very well this year, and we had a great interview. We love the murals. We will get more funding, and we will keep the mural programme going. That's a long-term project that I truly believe will drive footfall throughout the town. And again, lots of organisations are putting their own money forward for these murals now, so to be continued. And again, so a couple of things just want to bring up, and I can't go through everything on here. Food festival, I put on here, it's a tricky one for us because my job is to drive footfall into Newquay in those outside months, in the outside season, when we've got great businesses that sell food and alcohol and do great events in the summer, in particular July and August. I struggle with having an event that sells food in July or August. Now, there were a lovely group of people, and it was an amazing event last year. And I went and I enjoyed it. It was beautiful. But they are very stipulated about when they can come to Newquay, which personally, I think we should be the ones saying when we want the event and when we should have it outside our key season. Again, there are 2 or 3 organisations that can deliver a really good food festival that will not stipulate they have to do it in our peak summer. The guys that run the Churro Festival, they were brilliant at it last year. If you went to the Churro one on the Piazza, they were very good. We could have them in May, you know, we could have them in September, but I don't think we should be, and I have to say this because I represent the business, we shouldn't have them in July and August, but, you know, that's my thing. So that one, and the only other thing I want to bring up, there's lots of stuff on there. We've extended, we've got the Rangers coming back through bid funding. It is likely that the PCC funding might be switching off for the Rangers, so it's good timing because we can't afford to lose the Rangers from our streets. They are pretty much most of what we see security-wise during the day, and I know they work extremely well. I think most businesses love them. I know charity works really well with them. Last but not least, had a really late meeting, and again, it's something I would like to open to the room, and maybe because Jesse's with us on the bid board, had a meeting about the lighting on the harbour. There's a definite opportunity, like the Killer Court and like Trinance, that we can use some of the old infrastructure that Newquay Town Council still have in the basement, that they didn't use, that is probably fixable, that we could maybe do something on the harbour this Christmas. Long term, we would plan on maybe getting funding to get more lights. But as a quick fix for this Christmas, it would be great to get, you know, town council lights actually on the harbour. And I think it would look spectacular, certainly from the Killer Court. Is that okay?
Right.
Literally, that's a quick run through. I'd like to sit in on a little bit more if that's okay. But yeah, very exciting times are coming, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Has anybody got any questions for Mark on his report or anything else that's in there that hasn't been mentioned? Councillor Taylor.
Really interesting point that you made about the food festival, and we actually had that conversation in this room when it was coming up, and I guess we didn't necessarily know that there were other options. So like, I'm definitely open to like more chats around that, because I love that we have a food festival.
Yes.
And if you think that there are like other options, I'd like to hear about them.
So I might left the mic on. Yeah, absolutely. I think they did a great job, the people we used last year, but because they also do Penzance and they do Falmouth, they put us right in the middle. They also ask for funding when they come to do their food festivals, where the Truro one is self-funded. So there are other options, and I think next time we need to put it to the table and go, when do we want them? Can they deliver in this date? I absolutely agree with you. I think we should have food festivals. I think it was an amazing, spectacular event, but it's just the timing, definitely.
Amy, can I ask where we're at with that event? Because I know we discussed it at the event working party. It is all gone ahead, but for note, we did try to push back on the date. I think as the event working party, we can look at it again, because for all the reasons that you've said, we did try to push back and say that July is not the best time for that to come. So, but yeah, it's definitely something we can do for next year. Councillor Jacobs and then Councillor Martin.
Yeah, it's really good that we are putting in an expression of interest for Town of Culture. I think we've got a lot of potential within that. I do think that I would like to see more creative and cultural local organisations like leading on that bid as well. It's brilliant that you've taken the initiative, but it's all from my experience of other City of Culture bids, and ones that did well and ones that didn't, and ones that had a lasting legacy and ones that actually had less of a legacy, that by far the most successful are when the cultural sector really get behind it and get involved and are able to lead on that, because they're the people who will keep the activity going longer term. And the other thing on the events is, I think we've sort of had these discussions, but I think it'd be great that we can reopen some of the events working group to like wider stakeholders, because I think some of that voice would have been really useful when we were discussing it. As I said, we didn't know that there's other food festival providers, and I thought that Truro was the same as Penzance and other things. So maybe at the next working group we could look to do a bit of a wider one, invite a few other people, particularly as we're looking to plan for the year.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jacobs. Councillor Martin.
My question was about the Town of Culture as well. In terms of timing, have you got a rolling programme of inclusion and timing of when it's going to happen? Is it a whole year then?
So at the minute we have to have our expression of interest in by the end of March. So at the minute we're working with with Kieran and with Beth, and we have got Amy involved, Shirley Williams from the town team. So we're having preliminary planning meetings. We're then going to, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to pull individuals in, key players from the creative sector, from the events sector, and we're going to do an underlying kind of story. That the key thing we have to do is to get this story in by the end of March. If the story goes through, and the amazing, I can't remember his name, the amazing guy on the panel used to, was the producer of Grange Hill and all those different and he's a real storyteller about community and culture. So we're going to get the best story and we're going to put that together, and that will hopefully be what gets us through to the next stage. We then get a £60,000 grant that will be used to develop that structure of what that looks like, which will then go through to the final stages. There's a small, medium and large sized town, so we don't necessarily compete against the smaller ones. We're probably going to be a large town. If you get through to the final, the two runners-up get £250,000 and the winner gets £3 million. Now that is to be for a 2028 cultural campaign. So pretty much through the whole of 2028, that's when you would run your cultural events and activities. So there's a good timeline on it, but we also know we went on the initial interest call and there were about 400 to 500 people on that call listening in. So we know it's going to be popular. We also know that Falmouth, St Ives, Redruth, us, and probably many others from Cornwall will be going for it. So if we don't get the story right, that first stage, we won't get any further. But we're a very different, diverse people in Newquay.
Is there some kind of story gathering that's going on about kind of the historical context of Newquay and where we've changed from where we were 16 years ago up to today.
Absolutely. It's almost, we were talking about this, Amy, weren't we? It's almost like walking through Newquay in a timeline of when you were a fisherman to when you became a surfer. We can really see this vision of you walk through the 80s into the 90s, and then all of a sudden the culture and the well-being and all these, and there's a real journey. And the Beatles, Boardmasters, and we've got some huge, cultural organisations, as well as some really key smaller players that we're going to create a really amazing story, I believe.
Councillor Martin.
I've talked about this before, but our connections with France and our twin town, but also the Celtic connection altogether.
Yep.
And if somewhere in there, not that I'm biased in any way, I've talked about the Celtic connection, but if there's some of that in there somewhere, at some stage, that would be a good thing, I think.
Yep.
Great stuff. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to the next agenda item, but thank you, Mark, for all your hard work and everything that you are continuing to do to improve our town centre. And I'm glad that the businesses have invested in BID for the next 5 years. So well done. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is the minutes. They have been circulated. They are from the 13th of January. Jessie and I were, Councillor Jacobs and I were not in attendance to that, so thank you to Councillor Williamson for chairing that in our absence. I'd like to propose the minutes as all good to go. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Taylor, all those in favour? Lovely, thank you. Any matters arising? No matters arising. Sorry.
Sorry. If people look through their documents, they'll see that there is a new IBADS action plan. This is something that has started with the committees quite recently, but it gives you a tracking process of anything that is going on or where delegated work or decisions is at that moment in time. If anybody has any questions, I will feed them back to the relevant officer, but they're mainly just for noting.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is just a really excellent programme management tool so we can see what's happening, because a lot of times we come to these meetings, we will agree delegated authority and then things will just drift off and then we won't kind of get oversight of them again unless it kind of swings back around to our committee. So this is a really useful tool for us to just dip in and have a look and check in on things that we might have an interest in or want to know a little bit more information about. So this is a great tool, so thank you for that. Okay, next item is actions from the previous meeting, the list of actions from C&T.
It is the same document.
That's the same document. Yeah. Sorry, that's that one.
No, it's the same document of the 2 agenda items. So again, if there's any questions or if anybody would like an update, I'll feed that back to the relevant officer.
Great, thank you. Okay, item number 5, open sessions for electors. There is no one in the gallery. Do we have any written correspondence?
None at all.
None at all, okay. Okay, so item 5.A is our budget reports, and these are for noting. If anybody has any questions on this that they would like to put back to Anne, then feel free to raise them now while I get a glass of water. Okay. Do we need to propose these and vote on them, or are they just for noting?
Just for noting, Chair.
Just for noting. Awesome. Okay. Okay. We've done bid. So number 7 is the Library Service Manager's report. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Not really much to report that's not self-explanatory in the report. I suppose just to say that the Cornwall Library Service, so we are a devolved library, but we are part of the Cornwall Library family, and they are one of only 20 national libraries to be recognised by the Arts Council England Libraries Development Framework, which means that we can, Cornwall libraries, the big we, can feed into kind of library development over the next kind of sort of 12, 24 months.
Okay.
Which I think could be quite significant because we are one of the few libraries across the country that has devolved, and that seems to have worked really well. in Cornwall. So it will be, I mean, watch this space is really what I'm saying. There may be more stuff that comes out of that that I can feed back. And then in relation to Visit Newquay, just to say really that the new website tender process ended on the application part of it ended on the 2nd of February. So we are now sifting through the numerous applications that we received. And I think that we are hoping to be able to make a decision on a shortlist by the 20th of February, which is, let's say, a stretch target. But that's the plan. And then obviously we will have, that will then move us to kind of presentations and that kind of thing. So still on track at the moment for a sort of April start of the new website going forward.
As I wasn't here in January, how is it all feeling in the library now with the new setup with the TIC? How is it sitting in that space, and what's the footfall like for people who are now moving away from this building and coming round to you?
Like I said last month, I think it's still a little bit early to say. So okay. It's settled in. It's settled in nicely. I mean, if you pop in, it kind of looks like it's always been there, to be fair, which is interesting. And has to date has worked really quite well. I think our test will be summer, because obviously this has been a really quiet time in terms of tourism. Mm-hmm. Summer is a peak time for library customers because of our summer reading challenge, and then obviously a peak time for tourism. So I think that will be our test really, possibly starting around Easter. Easter could be a little bit of a
Easter,
yeah, possibly depending weather dependent, I guess. Yeah. If it stays like this, I can't imagine many people are coming. But yeah, so we'll sort of see. I think summer will be the big one, really.
Great. Has anybody got any questions for Joe on this or anything else, library or TIC related? Councillor Jacobs.
Yeah, just to note, at the last events committee meeting, it was really good to meet Molly, obviously with her sort of her previous experiences. I think there's a real asset that she'll bring to both the events team, but also because of her previous visitor experience. So I was hoping that as the new director kind of comes into his own and gets to know the team and looks at the strategic direction, just that there is some, I guess, flexibility on what the different teams can be able to do, because I think being able to build on that visitor experience, basically Molly's come from Visit Cornwall, and so has got some really good ideas for how we can continue to do the promotion of the town. But obviously she sits in the events team, so there was one joint initiative which was about the newsletter and sending out via Visit Newquay a list of all the events that were happening so that we can use, and so just making sure that there's not going to be this silo where it's well, that's a marketing thing, so you're not going to be able to do that. And so it's just a sort of, we've got some great assets, and I've been really keen to start to work together on how we can get this kind of some real kind of cross team working to make the most out of some brilliant people that we seem to have.
Just on that, I would like to reassure committee really that's not how we work. That we saw the value in Molly joining the team straight away, and actually, so we've also got another Molly who is now the Deputy Library and Visitor Information. That's not at all a mouthful. And they're working very closely together as they are with Amy. There's lots of crossover between what Visit Newquay are doing and what events are doing, and it's really important, I think, that that we do that. I mean, we would be very silly to lose Amy's wealth of knowledge and experience anyway. So, yeah, just to reassure you on that.
Thanks, Joe. Any other questions? Councillor Hobbox.
The summer reading challenge, is that all Cornwall stats? Is there any Newquay ones, so the highest completion rate and stuff?
No, I can get you some Newquay stats if you like. I think I put some in the summer one, but I can get some Newquay stats for you if you wanted to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, item 8 is the CCTV Manager's Report. Sorry, Charity.
Okay, so my report is mainly just for noting. We've got the usual CCTV statistics there from December. And also that I'm pleased to announce that I've been successful in winning a Hotspot CCTV funding grant from the PCC, which is just shy of 8,000 for a new camera on Island Crescent. So that is it from me, short and sweet. And we pick up our award tomorrow as well, so we'll be going and doing that.
I like that. Coming on a high and just like, that's it. Just that's it. Amazing. Thank you. Any questions for Charity on the December stats or anything else? No. Thank you very much, Charity. Okay. Item 9 is our events manager's report. Over to Amy.
Okay, so we actually have an events calendar now. So that's exciting. So any questions, just ask. And then Mark has bigged it up a little bit before we got here. WACS are really keen to work with us. They have sent the Wave 1 proposals, so it's up to you if you want to go ahead with them.
Has somebody got any questions about the events that we've kind of programmed in? You know, we've already, heard from Mark about the collaboration that's happening between the Town Council and BID, and I know at the Events Working Party we've talked about how we can work more collaboratively with community organisations. I think having Amy in post will play a big part in the Town of Culture, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, has anybody got any questions about our events, either events that we're doing or events that we are supporting? Councillor Taylor.
This is so amazing. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to take it in before the meeting. So, but like, wow, we do so much stuff. I was just wondering a little bit more about last meeting it was just that WACS wanted to do events with us and they were just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
And so and then I feel like just now you just asked for any more comments on it, but I feel like it looks great.
Yep.
And super inclusive, that. There's going to be age diversity at those events and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so nice and so wonderful. Go WACS, I guess.
Yeah, and this is just their first wave as well. They want to do, this is just the first beginning of it, so they want to increase it over the years, which is exciting.
You may ask a question, Mark, yes.
Just wanted to point out as well that there is, if you look closely, there is a mention, I believe, of a food festival or a food event related to, is it Over the Boardmasters or?
No,
it's not,
so
is it?
It's the May Bank Holiday
Yeah.
for the food festival.
No, that is absolutely acceptable. I mean, from our point of view, it's at the right time, and our businesses will use that as a footfall driver. But yeah, so, and again, going forward, if we have a really good relationship with WACS, even WACS could be tendering for the Newquay, food festival. So I think having one in May, I don't think will be an issue. Even though we've got 2 this year, because I think it will work and it will create a lot more footfall in May.
Thanks, Mark. Councillor Jacobs.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed to see the Surf and Skate Expo on the 24th and 27th of July. Again, the point of trying to get things that happen outside the season. Why is that happening bang in the middle of the summer? And is that?
I don't actually.
That's when it happened last year, wasn't it?
That's the
So
dates that they're proposed for this year.
yeah.
So they did the first one last year, and it was in September, and they had the worst weather. It was literally, it was mainly up at the WACS
It was
area,
grey and windy.
Yeah, they nearly lost the marquee a few times, but the plan is they're focusing on the Killer Court as well this year, whereas last year they did it outside the town centre. So you're absolutely right, it is in July, but I think it will be a good event, and the creative sector will be what's going on the Killer Court, so it'll be surf art and skate art.
They have reached out to community organisations this year, definitely more so than what they did for the kind of pilot or the first event last year. So it does feel like they were testing the water last year, and it was a good event down at Concrete Waves, but they have seen that working more collaboratively with community organisations and with Mark will be a good thing. So they have definitely upped their game this year. Any other? I had a question. What was it? It was about WACS. That was it. It was about the WACS event. So you've asked in your report if there's any recommendations to the committee to be agreed at the meeting, what do we need to,
For the events
Talk about
to
that.
go ahead.
for the events to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, so if everybody can have a look at the report, then we've got item number 2, with recommendations to the committee, and these are the wax events. So they want 4 events at the Killer Court. They will be hiring the venue for these occasions, so they're
Yeah.
paid.
Yes.
They're paying us to hire it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apart from, we're going for some funding for like a wellness series in May.
Okay.
If we do get that, then we're looking to maybe collab with Wax on their activity ones. So we'd offer the Killer Court for free for that one.
Okay. Okay, and then the 4 events are the Taste Newquay, the Newquay Surf and Turf Race,
Yep.
the Newquay Street Party, which is the collaboration with Boardmasters, and then the Active Newquay, which is also in May, and that's the one that we'll be collaborating on. Okay. And this is supported by BID. This is a good thing.
Amazing. The thing is, for us, we don't have huge budgets, and I think working with private event companies will absolutely take us to the next level. We're really happy about it, and also it's inclusive. They're not just talking the Killer Court. So what you're seeing is the Killer Court aspect, but they're also going to put things on around the town in different locations. So it's good for everybody.
Are they bringing in community organisations to collaborate on these as well, or is there an opportunity to do so?
Yep, they're going to look closely at working with businesses in town as well.
Okay.
They mentioned if Tom Fun wanted to go, they do have a cocktail bar that they could brand up if businesses in the town do want to get involved with things as well.
Okay, and how might local businesses, local community organisations get involved in this? Is there a process for
I think
us
once, if we say yes and go ahead, then
Yeah.
Wax are going to start reaching out to all the local businesses and moving forward in that way.
Okay, and what will the town council's role be within that? Is it going to be more of a collaboration and supported by the town council? So there is our kind of support and presence and all of that with these. Okay.
I mean, what is amazing is, if I'm honest, Wax are quite happy to run the majority of these events.
Yeah.
But they're also happy if they get authorisation from council and BID work with the businesses. We all get joint billing, So I think it's a win-win right across the town. And most of the risk, if I'm honest, is
with
through
Wax.
that. Yeah.
Days. Any questions from anybody? Councillor Hobbox.
Just to jog my memory, was it Wax that did the thing at the Headland last Boardmasters?
Yeah.
Yes.
The lawn party thing? Okay, thanks.
Councillor Taylor.
It says at the end I've attached full proposals for each event. Where are the proposals? Because it looks like there's more detail in them. Because I think we're like responding to like the top line information, which is really nice.
Oh, maybe they haven't uploaded them, but I can give you a quick look at this one and I can send them to you.
Great.
Feel better.
I'll read it out. A large 4 metre by 3 metre mobile LED advertising screen will be installed for the duration of the event. Local businesses will be able to advertise at a heavily subsidised rate, expected to be under £50, promoting their bricks and mortar premises directly to the attendees. Do we need to receive the reports and read them before we make recommendations? Or are people happy about making recommendations without the reports?
When do we need to make a decision?
So that's just like a small bit of it, but they wanted it as soon as possible so that they can start planning
Okay.
their things. But if you did say yes, but you didn't want the LEDs, then I think that.
Okay. Hello.
So what you can do, Chair, is you can agree in principle, subject to everybody seeing the proposals, to go forward and work in collaboration. And then if you saw the proposals and you weren't happy, then you could obviously pull back on that.
Is that a decision that we could make via email? So if we kind of set ourselves, everybody will, in principle, yes, let's everyone go away, read the notes, feedback with anything, and then yay or nay via email by the end of the week. Is that a bit ambitious?
So what I would say is that you make a resolution that says, in principle, the committee is happy to work in collaboration, subject to approval being given by email on the proposals.
Can I just say what you just, can we just go what you just said for the notes?
Of course, Chair, of course.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
So this document and others, you'll email to us?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Cool, what Linda said. We can, do I need to propose what you said?
Yes. If you
I would like to propose what Linda said. May I have a seconder? Councillor Martin, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Yes.
If we don't reply, that means great, it's only a question that they have to reply.
So if they're circulated by email, I would always say reply, because then there is an audit trail.
Yeah. So if we can all say a yes or a no or give any feedback. Is the end of the week a bit ambitious?
It's only Tuesday.
It is only Tuesday, isn't it? I thought it was Wednesday. No, by the end of the week. Is that okay with everyone? Excellent. Lovely. Okay. Item number 10 is the Devon and Cornwall Police request for funding. Would you like to share what these are, please?
So there are two parts to this. This was discussed at the last committee meeting. The first part is that the licensing officer is looking for £500 towards best bar none assessments. They are £50 each, so that would cover 10 assessments. So best bar none focuses on how well venues protect customers, train staff and manage security, and there is a particular emphasis on the safety of women and girls. There's only 5 businesses in Newquay that are accredited to the scheme so far. As Anna said, it's £50 for an assessment for each business. So Devon and Cornwall Police Licensing Sergeant has asked for funding to help get the other businesses in the town accredited. Just for your information, the committee does have £2,000 in a public space protection earmark reserve. So if you decided to award that money and use those funds, you would need approval from full council. So that would go as a recommendation to full council.
Okay, great. Councillor Hubbox.
I'm the assessor. Do I need to go away while you discuss?
Yes, it's yes. It's an interest that you need to go.
Thank you, Councillor Hubbox. Any questions on this? Any thoughts that anyone has on this topic? Councillor Martin.
There's a bit of me thinks that why are we funding Devon and Cornwall Police? But I guess that's not the issue, is it? The issue is about the specific task. And it seems to me that if we want our town to be safe, then yes, we have to go ahead with the funding.
I have a question. I don't really know the answer to this, but so we pay the £500, the £50 per organisation. Do they have to pay anything to be accredited, or are we covering that fee?
The information that I have, it is £50 for an assessment, and that £50 will come out of the £500 funding that the town council would give. I haven't got any information on whether the business would be expected to contribute. I think Devon and Cornwall Police are trying to think outside the box and get as many businesses accredited as possible, hence why they've come to yourselves.
Okay. Councillor Norman. Was that Councillor Catt? No, Councillor Norman.
I agree with it. I think it's a good idea. I think £50 is not a lot to pay per business to ensure that they're all on the same guidelines, everyone's working within the same rules to try and safeguard everybody whilst they're having a good time. So I agree, I think it's good.
Thank you. I agree. I would also like to propose that we take the funds from the earmark reserves. I will propose that we agree to support this, and we will donate give the
Put the recommendation to full council.
Put a recommendation to full council. That's what I'll do. I will propose that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Norman. All those in favour? Thank you very much. And the second of the police
So the
proposals.
second part is that the town council has been asked if they could help with some funding.
Oh, sorry, can I get Councillor Hubbard's back in? Disappeared. Oh, you're back. You can come back now. Sorry, Linda. Please continue.
So in addition, the town council has been asked if they could help with some funding towards this year's night bus service through the summer. The town clerk has asked for members' guidance on whether the council should be looking at supporting the funding request, and if so, to what extent. There was a discussion in January, but the meeting wasn't quorate, so a decision couldn't be made. So regarding the night bus, you asked officers to get some more information, and that information was as follows. The stats that they had were 745 passengers had used the bus. 100% of the survey respondents felt safe using the bus and would recommend it. Reported public order and sexual offences fell by 50% during the time the bus was running compared to the same period. You asked if there were any statistics available for 2024, and it was responded that over the 10 weeks that the scheme ran, it was increased to 16 for 2025, so it's only 10 weeks in 2024. 659 passengers used the bus, and there was a 10% reduction in crime and antisocial behaviour compared to 2023. A passenger survey was sent out following the summer of 2025, and again 100% said that they felt safe and recommend the service. First Bus also said that feedback indicated that they would like another service to Perranporth. That would be a real benefit in terms of passenger numbers and demand. So the route for 2026 will be with Go Cornwall, and there hasn't been any response from Perranporth Town Council at the moment. Just to summarise, the bus service costs around 7,200, but if they're extending it to Perranporth, it will go up. Any funding would help. Any other partner has given in the region of 1,000 to 5,000, and that's why they've now come to the Town Council.
Any councillors that were at the January meeting that have any thoughts on that, know that you have the statistics? Councillor Taylor.
I think in the last meeting we were pretty much in favour. It felt like a really important thing that would keep people safe, but that there wasn't really enough of us. Like, we weren't in quorum, so we couldn't go ahead with it.
I just have a question around the bus company. Is it again, I don't know whether this is something that we need to go back to them on. So is it a private profit-making bus company, or is it a Cornwall Council subsidised one? I don't understand where the service is, who's providing the service. I know you said Go.
Yep, so
Cornwall.
Within the information that I have, there is a mention of First Bus and Go Cornwall, but I cannot see whether it says that they put any contribution to it. It just tells me that other partners also put in funding.
Okay. Councillor Hobart.
The question I think I asked in January was, so there was a 50% reduction in incidents compared to the same period in 2024, but the bus also ran in 2024, which is why I asked if they had stats for the year before.
Okay.
There was only a 10% reduction not only, obviously that's significant, sorry, that was the wrong word, between 2024 and 2023. Hard to compare because there was 6 weeks different in terms of the service running, so it's not really comparable anyway. I just shouldn't have asked the question. So if there's £7,200, 745 people used the service last year, it's about £100 a bus ride. And I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do, because clearly 50% reduction is a lot, but it's an expensive bus ride.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they think that Perranporth is going to make it much more viable,
Yeah.
then I wonder if we can have a look at those revised numbers, because £100
Yeah.
for a journey, and it's not particularly far it's going at the moment. I mean, a taxi would actually be cheaper.
Yeah, all very good points. And I think my initial thoughts are I'd need to know more information about this. Where are they promoting this service? You know, how are they, what does the whole package look like? Because to me, 700 passengers over a 16-week period in the height of summer doesn't actually feel like a lot. But yes, Linda.
I just wanted to add that the PCC was funding the service, but that funding is now going to cease. So the request has come through to continue the service past 2028. If you don't feel that you have enough information, I couldn't see any reason why you couldn't ask a representative to come and present to you.
That's a good idea.
And answer any questions that you do have. Because if you have another load of questions, probably once you've had those answered, they're going to raise more questions for you, and it's just going to continue.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Councillor Jacobs.
Just to clarify, doesn't it work out at £10? I don't know what my sums are. £7,000 and 700 passengers. Yeah, just to like get that. I think that's important to clarify. Because that's quite a difference. So it's £10. And I also think that it is really important that you do have public services that run through the night, and actually Newquay's got a really vibrant nighttime economy. We know that it's not just about antisocial behaviour, it's also about encouraging people not to come in their cars, and also connecting the villages and the surrounding areas to Newquay. So I think it's fantastic. This is to continue the bus service for this summer? Is it for 2026?
No, what they're looking for is either a contribution or for future funding to continue the service once the PCC funding has expired.
Right. So there's going to be some wider questions, isn't there, about what's going to happen in 2028 around everything that's funded through the PCC, and is it going to go back to is it going to go to Cornwall Council? Will we go back to having community safety boards? What will town council contributions be? There's a lot of things that haven't been worked out yet in terms of funding. So I think so I think in terms of your suggestion, bringing someone along to have a conversation with them, I think that would be really good, because I think there are going to be so many different community safety type of projects that are all going, what happens now?
Next?
So obviously we can't fund everything that the PCC
that isn't being picked up. Okay, thank you. Councillor Hobbox, did you want to come back in?
Only to apologise for my awful maths. It's been a really long day. And also to clarify, I absolutely think it's worth it still, but the point was more it's worth investigating the extra Perranporth leg if that is going to vastly boost the numbers. But I'm just sorry for my bad maths.
That's fine. Apology accepted. Bad maths is fine. Yes, I agree that it probably is a good idea, but I just feel like we need more information about how they are going to promote this, how they, just what are their intentions with it for this year, from lessons that they've learned from the last 2 years, in order for us to support it and invest. So I think the idea of asking someone to come in and talk to us is a really good one. So if we could arrange that would be super. Do we need to propose that, or can we just request it?
It's up to the committee chair. I mean, if you would like it noted that at the moment you are in support of the idea due to the crime reduction, I think that would probably be the way forward.
Yeah.
And then delegate to an officer to arrange a presentation at a suitable time.
Yes, all of that, please. Yeah, all agreed. Thank you. I don't need to repeat what you just said, do I? Okay, thanks. Lovely. Okay, number 11 on the agenda is the Newquay Town team report. Do we have any? No. Lovely. Okay, we will move on from that. Item 12, we're going to invite Councillor Hubbock to talk to us about her cuppa with your councillor.
don't have anything to say this time about it other than I need to talk to Laura about putting it on full council as we discussed in January's meeting. I can't see the Newquay Town team report attached, and I'm not sure if that's a me problem.
There isn't one.
Oh, there isn't one.
No. I would just like to come in on the Cup with your councillor thing. It's got to go to full council, but I think we are all very much in support of that, and I think we probably just need to get some dates in, because even if it, I mean, I don't feel like it has to go to full council. We'd like to get everybody involved, but I feel like as the C&T committee, we could do the first one and be like, look, we've done this. It's really fun. Look, you've come and met us all. Come and then the rest of the town council can go, oh, that was a really good idea. Let's all jump on board. So just in order to push this forward, rather than having to wait for the next town full meeting, can we actually just do it? Can we just do it? Can we all commit to, we will pick a date that suits us, and we will go and we'll get Leah to do a promotion to say that we will be in this space at this time. Come and meet us. We're a nice bunch. Do I need to propose that, or can we just go ahead and do it? Thank you.
I would put it as a proposal, Chair.
Okay, I would like to propose that C&T go ahead and initiate this couple with your councillor, and we will just pick a date and we will do it. And then when, you know, it's a raging success and everyone understands who we are and what we do, then hopefully the full council will then get on board to do more of them. I propose that. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Taylor, all those in favour? Thank you very much.
If I can just come in, Chair, there is just to say, I know from personal experience, is that there will be a considerable amount of work done behind the scenes, such as risk assessments,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera. So it may just take a little bit longer than you think.
Then picking a date?
Yeah.
We'll pick a date sometime in the near future,
yeah.
but not this weekend. And also, in a pre-chat that Linda and I and Councillor Jacobs and Steve, we were having before, there are other things that we would like to do around that. So, couple with your councillor, we will go out to the community and be in a coffee shop somewhere, or we can do this part of an event. I also want to bring people into here, but we might want to offer an online one for those that don't want to come and, for whatever reason, come and meet us in person, and also phone calls as well, which was Linda's suggestion for those that also don't want to come online. So we do need to have a look at what we can do to open the doors to the town council to lots of different members of our community. Great. Oh, hello, Councillor Martin.
Can I ask directly, do you have a venue in your head, if you know what I mean? Are you thinking about somewhere particularly at the moment?
No.
No. Okay.
And I think it would be quite nice for, in my imagination, I've thought about it happening within wards, and so councillors within wards would decide when, where, whatever. So it could be weather dependent. I know Councillor Brooke said if the weather's fair, we could do it literally on the street, so that it doesn't, I mean, there's a whole load of things that I'm trying to be mindful of. The biggest one, I suppose, for me is a financial barrier.
Yeah.
So if I hold it, or if on my weekend I decided to hold it in a coffee shop, I'm immediately excluding a lot of people. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. So no, there isn't a particular venue, and I'm up for doing it in as many places as we can. The library will be perfect. Yeah, it will be perfect.
Joe's like,
yeah.
no.
The bandstand. Yeah.
Oh, the bandstand. That's a good idea. Yeah. Oh, get the deck chairs out. Yeah. Great. We could do a swim one. We could do a swim one. Yeah, absolutely. Not until the water warms up, because it's a bit cold. Great stuff. Okay, thank you, everybody. That was all good. Okay, we're going to move into exempt business now. So, item 13.